Good evening and welcome to the show. This is Up the Spurs live show, formerly Shooting the Shit, a Tottenham talk show with me, Leader Dorset Spur. We have done a little bit of rebranding of the name, but we will still be doing the same shit as before. We're currently streaming live on YouTube and also on Facebook. The show will also be uploaded onto audio platforms for those who prefer to listen in the car, on the train, or maybe walking the dog. Please do hit us up in the chat and let us know how you're feeling about being a Spurs fan at the moment. And if you enjoy the show, please consider subscribing. If you haven't already, it's absolutely free, but it helps grow the show. I am, of course, joined by my regular guests, the three amigos from Essex, Dean, Mason, and Sweary. Alex, hello, boys. How's it going?
Evening,
all good?
Evening, all. Yeah, I've got my name now because you're not allowed to say the shit word, so you can't swear. No.
You can still swear. It's the same shit, different name.
Occasionally. Same shit, different night. Right, okay, excellent.
How are you, Dino? You all right?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. I'm good. Tired, but good.
Have you been working hard today?
I have, mate, yes.
Mm-hmm. But you made it in time, so we're really eternally grateful for that. That's all good. All right, Mason, you okay?
Yeah, all good here. Buddy? Yeah, I'm all good here. All good here.
Okay, just off screen, we are just witnessing Alex having a domestic because his missus won't let him go to Amsterdam. But
no, don't worry about that. I'll sort that out. Don't worry about that, mate.
Stick to your guns, Marie. Stick to your guns. Stick to your guns, Marie.
Who's boss? Don't you worry about that. Yeah,
we know when it ain't you.
Yeah, Dana come and get me from A&E about midnight. So yeah, no worries.
Get you from A&E and take you straight to Amsterdam.
yeah. Recuperation.
For a second visit when you get back.
Well, if you're going to get a kick in, you might as well get a kick in for a reason, eh?
Yeah, might as well. Anyway, listen, guys, good week for Tottenham. It's our 3 wins in a row. I think, life couldn't get much better, really. We're up to 12th in the league.
Hey.
So we're getting there slowly. But it's pretty good. There's a bit of a feel-good factor around the club, especially with players now coming back. We didn't have any additional players this week, just gone. But the squad did feel a bit stronger. Dean, did you feel that? Did you feel like we had a decent, strong starting lineup this weekend just gone?
Yeah, and the bench was good as well, which I liked. We could make changes and bring on light players or even better players to like change it up. So yeah, it was good.
Yeah, no, it was good to see. It was good to see some decent players back on the bench and everything else. It did feel a lot stronger for sure. I know I've said to people like hit us up in the chat, but you just don't need comments like this, do you?
What, West Ham colours? I told you.
Is that West Ham colours? It's purple.
It's claret. Yeah. It's not. You're colourblind. It's fucking claret. Mate, right, listen, look, you need a dress rehearsal.
Look, it's purple.
Makes it worse, mate. Makes it even worse.
Make it worse. Yeah, you spanner. Yeah, go on.
I don't know. This is the only football club in the world that I know where you're colour coordinated for your bloody football team. It seems like you can only wear white or blue in this day and age.
It's not hard. No red, no claret. That's it. Done. Happy days.
Yeah, but you got claret and blue walls next to you. It's just,
they're green.
A little bit sad. If this is claret, that is definitely blue. Anyway, listen, let's get on to it because we're rabbiting. I'm rabbiting.
I bet he's got rice on the back. Go on, carry on.
Brooking.
Yeah, Brooking. Was it Knob? Oh, right. Yeah. Go on, carry on. Sorry, carry on. I love it. Go on, carry on.
Let's talk about the football. Let's talk about the football because obviously, really big win against Ipswich at the weekend. And I think we were all in positive mood, wasn't we, last week when we were talking? We was all in positive mood about it. I actually called it out as a 4-0 win, I believe. And so I was a bit disappointed that Ipswich got a goal. But
I think I said 4-1.
I think you probably did, to be honest with you.
Sure.
But let's talk about the match. Let's talk about the match itself. Bit of a rough start with Vicario making a number of really good saves right at the beginning. Mason, just talk to me about that, because that's happened a couple of times in these recent games. Do you think this is a new tactic that the opposition teams are doing, where they're basically just really going for us first off and hoping to catch us sleeping? Is that where you think this is kind of coming from?
Yeah, I mean, you could see, especially after Villa done it to us, that a lot of teams are trying it now. Like, it's because as soon as we kick off, all the players are out of position, because that's what Ange does for the build-up. Porro is not at his usual space. Neither's whoever's playing on the left that day. It's the midfielders are all trying to push up, trying to get the long ball, get the dominance in their half of the pitch. So, yeah, it's very much trying to catch us on the transition, which they are doing quite a bit now.
Yeah, it's a bit disappointing. I mean, everyone's talking about Liam Delap, but he did look a real handful, didn't he?
Oh, yeah, he's a great player. He's a very good player. I don't think he'll be at Ipswich for much longer, put it that way.
Yeah, there was a lot of calls. I've seen a lot of people chatting about Tottenham really should be trying to get that guy and so on. But yeah, it's an interesting one. I just felt like we were really under pressure when the game kicked off, and it was a bit of a worry, if I was honest.
With Macario, yes.
What did you think? What do you think, Alex? Was you worried watching the first one? Because you and Dean were there, right? So what was the mood like watching that as we kicked off?
Well, it started off right. 26 seconds later, we were all shitting ourselves. So Vicario did a couple of what could you call them? On the line, goal line saves, sort of thing.
Mm.
But yeah, then off the post as well. I mean, it was a stop a moment, because you was just, oh no, not again, surely not, because we was all loud. Everyone in the stand was loud and proud, like we was all giving it some, and then they started just very, very poorly, and then Ipswich were all over us, and yeah, it was a bit of a heart stopper moment. But I think we won. The victory was good, but they didn't make it easy for us. That's for certain.
It's always the same, isn't it? I've said this before, and I'll keep saying it. They're doing it the hard way since 1882. It's almost like it's in our DNA, where we have to struggle and kind of live on the edge. It's just one of them. You feel like it could go either way all the time. But Dean, let me come to you. Let me come to you, Dean, because I want to ask about Spence. So it was interesting that finally, after so many games, Spence gets to play in his correct position, and Porro gets a rest. How do you think Spence got on? Because he's probably one of our most informed players.
Yeah, probably now first name on a team sheet, if I'm honest.
Mm.
I think it's good that he plays over the left, and he can play over the right. So it means that he can swap in those positions, and I think that's what Ange wants, really, to be able to have most players that they can chop and change. So when somebody's up, somebody can come across and do the cover. So yeah, he played brilliant. He was man of the match, and some of the crosses he was putting in, and his mum and his sister weren't too far in front of us. So they was quite happy as well.
Yeah, it was really interesting to see that. I mean, that's got to be 3 man of the match on the trot, isn't it? Is that?
Yeah, I think so.
Right?
Yeah, I think so. But again, Bergvall played well as well. So, and there were some good performances all across the pitch. He was, you couldn't just sort of signal him out, but he was definitely like 1 or 2 points above everybody else. That's for sure.
Yeah, and he actually got himself on the score sheet as well. A bit of a lucky deflection, I guess, but they all count, right? So it was good to see on that. That's his first Premier League goal as well. Yeah,
and he deserved it because of the performance he put in. I mean, the amount of times that we've seen it before where we're playing really, really well, but still don't get the result that we deserve. But this time it seems like results are going our way. You can see the Ange ball sort of coming to fruition. It's still not right because we're still sort of too slow getting out from the back. I get it. You invite the pressure on, and then you sort of put the ball into the space behind. But we're not doing that. We sort of like invite them on, then go through the centre, and still haven't got the speed on the flanks to then go and attack the people. But it worked. You could see it working against Ipswich, but I think they were draining rather than us sort of really, really going for it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's interesting. playing out from the back is one of those that, like, from a Tottenham fan point of view, you stress about it all the time. Like, it bothers me like mad. But then when I see him kick long, it always seems to go to the opposition anyway.
Every time.
So I'm like, I get it. You want to play out from the back, but I want to see you doing that quicker. And what happens is it always feels like we're getting really pressured when we're playing out from the back. And you watch, say Liverpool do it, or Arsenal do it, or Man City do it, and they don't get that pressure. They've still got the time. No one's kind of taking them on. Whereas with us, they're trying to force the errors, and I wonder whether that's because they see us as a bit weak that they can get at us from that point of view.
Yeah, the last goal, the Kulu goal, that's what they did. They put the pressure on to Dane Scarlett. Dane Scarlett won the header, and that was from Kev, big man, Superman Kev now. He put it on the Dane Scarlett. Dane Scarlett done a flick on, and that's it. Kulu was in space. So it does work. It's just, you just got to be lucky sometimes as well, I guess.
I just want to see it. I just want to see it happening quicker. I just feel like it feels a bit slow. Like we're not moving it out of that defence quick enough for me. That transition, it's taking too long, and it's kind of going back to the keeper too much. Like for me, it should go, to
Forward.
the keeper, to the next one, out to the middle, and onward. Not kind of, I'm getting pressure. I'll go back to the keeper, and the keeper goes back sort of to the left, and then he'll go back to the keeper, and he goes, I'll go to the right, and then it kind of just all feels like you're constantly under pressure, and you're not kind of making any headway from it. You're inviting the pressure on, but then not dealing with the pressure when it comes to you.
But that's down our midfield, I think, as well, Lee. Our midfield ain't strong enough, or big enough, or powerful enough. You need a holding player in there that can sort of, like again, Højbjerg. I know I talk about him, but Dembele, Sandro, all them. We haven't got them sort of players that can sort of have their back away from play, take it to the chest, and then turn and just load the ball off. We haven't got that. We get bullied a lot in the midfield. Yeah,
and I guess that was supposed to. I guess when we're looking at that team that started the game, I'm guessing that Bentancur should be that player in that position, right? Is that what we're saying?
Yeah, but I don't think he's strong enough though. The Bentancur last year, I think he'd be fine, but Bentancur this year, it doesn't seem strong enough, or whether or not the other players or the other teams are now getting closer and closer to stop that transition.
Yeah, it's a bit of an interesting one. We have had plenty of criticism of Sonny. So let me come to you with this one, Alex, just so you know I'm coming your way, right? But
yeah,
you and I, in particular, have probably been quite critical of Son over the last sort of few weeks when we've been talking about him, with him not doing maybe as well as we would like to do, or setting his standards where we wanted to do. But I felt that he had a decent game on Saturday. Obviously, he gets 2 assists. He gets 2 assists out of that, but he was running at players and was able to put a couple of balls across. So I was quite impressed. I was quite impressed with him. He did tend to wane in the game, but I don't know. Do you see it that way?
Yeah, no, I concur. But he just still doesn't look happy. Even he's got the 2 assists. Watching it now, just a little replay. He doesn't really celebrate. He's just like, done. There you go. He's still not happy. I mean, everyone's crowding around him, giving him a cuddle here as I'm looking, and he's not celebrating. He's not celebrating with Johnson at all on both of the goals. So I still think there's something wrong with him. I think he's just doing a job now, whereas before he was there to prove a point. So it's a bit strange.
I did notice that.
Go on.
No, I was going to say, I did notice that, certainly in the first one, when they scored the first goal, he kind of turned away from it and just kind of walked away. He didn't look like he was really that happy with it, and I'm not sure why that might be.
And even if looking at here now, he's just kind of, if the ball goes obviously away from him, he's just walking around and his head goes down straight away. Like, I'm probably reading it all wrong, but it's like he doesn't want to be there. But now he's got the ball, he's got to do something with it. And I've given an assist, and there you go, mate. Well done. All right, let's crack on. Let's get this 90 minutes out of the way.
It seems worse. It does seem worse after the Everton game. that Everton game where they,
Yeah.
sort of, I think that really affected him. And he seems that sort of guy that any sort of criticism, it does sort of get his head down. But he weren't playing. He wasn't happy at all. He didn't have his head up. Even when at the end of the game, he didn't really come over. You know, he
No.
sort of walked over. He weren't celebrating with everybody else. He's
Just
he's
watching the cuddle there, though. I mean, like after the first goal, I think it is, and with me viewers, he obviously crosses it. He walks, like you say, he walks away, but they all then rally around him, and they're all like, yeah, look. So Brennan's, he's gone over to him there, like, yeah, okay, one arm around him, Burville's round here, and then they're all rallying around him. They're not rallying around Brennan Johnson. They're all around Son. So, they must know that
there's something up, whether it's something personal or whether it's something professional. You never do know because it doesn't come out, does it? So
no, but for your teammates
to
rally round you like that, that they're aware of something, and I suppose it's nice to see the team rally around him, sort of thing, So
that's
it's not the same song, right? Not the same song, but
if you're seeing the players kind of trying to G him up and make him feel better, it's almost like when Johnson was really going through that difficult period and he was getting a lot of shit. When he actually got a goal and started that really good run,
he was walking off, wasn't he?
The players kind of got round him and they're like really giving him picking him up about it. So it kind of feels a little bit like that, which is really disappointing because Son's now got 10 goals and 10 assists this season, which is decent numbers, right? Especially when you're a struggling team, which we have been.
Have we?
Yeah, we have a little bit, just a little bit. So it's good to see him getting those numbers. Even when you're suggesting that he's not having his best of seasons, he's still managing to put in a fairly decent number. Not back in the season where he won the Golden Boot. I think I was saying like 20 odd goals or whatever it was. So not to that level, but he's still putting in decent numbers compared to other players in comparable teams across the league. So.
I mean, even the second goal, because I'll just watch it while we're talking. He's crossed it, and obviously it's been popped in. Lovely. He just stands there, doesn't celebrate. There you go. He just stands, looks around, and then just walks. It's only Bentancur going to him. Yeah. So there's definitely something out of sync with him. Definitely.
I wonder if he's taking the criticism of the team and so on a bit personal, or whether there's some kind of injury in there. I know he looked very unhappy being taken off as well. He didn't look very happy at all sitting on the subs bench for sure.
Well, he knows it's coming, didn't he? Really, I suppose he's on the countdown.
Yeah,
Mason, to the knackered yard. Sorry.
Mason, let me come to you and talk about the finishes of those. So Johnson, first game back as a starter, and bags 2 goals and 2 pretty much trademark goals, right, from the back post coming in late and everything else. But do you think he's being unfairly treated, a little bit underrated in terms of what he's bringing to this team?
Oh, 100%. I mean, we people. The media at the moment has got like a memory like a sieve, because it weren't that long ago. We was going, oh Christ, he's 8-8 or he's 7-7. He's scoring every game. He's doing something every game. He was. Although all of his goals are the same, to get yourself in that position every time and not get figured out is brilliant. He's doing unreal at the moment. And to be fair, I don't think there was any doubt in him again when he was starting against Ipswich. I thought he'd do something in terms of goals or an assist. He's always a problem for defenders. And he somehow always gets away from his man. So he's great, and I hope he stays till the end of the season. I don't want him to go back out again, because he's the 2 players we were missing the most. Like, you can take away the defenders, whatever. The 2 players we missed the most during this injury crisis was Solanke and Johnson in terms of the building up and cracking on goal.
Yeah, particularly the second goal. I thought that was really, really well worked, because he basically got to the box late, but held back and held his run, and Son just picked him out, and he just kind of glided it, past it into the back of the net. I thought it was a really well taken goal, and it's interesting because obviously as a winger, what we're expecting from a winger is bombing up the line, taking people on, sending crosses in for the big man to to header or whatever. Not that we've got the big man in there to header at the moment anyway. And he doesn't do that. That's the big criticism of him, is that he hasn't been the person to do that, to kind of come in and take people on. But in terms of his goals ratio, I think he's our top goal scorer. I think he's scored 14 goals.
Yeah, I think all competitions, yeah. I think the Premier League is Maddison still. I mean, he might have overtaken him, but this season, I think he is our club top goal scorer. I mean, but the thing is, though, you know how you say he crosses it in, stuff like that. He used to do that with Forest. He always played on the left, and when we signed him, he was like, oh, okay, he's going to play on the left. But no, because of he's right-footed, he don't cut inside or shoot or cross anymore. It's always that what Ange does, like the side pass, tap in, which is exactly what Johnson scores. But he's always on the receiving end of that as well. So he always puts the ball in the back of the net, but he's also the person to put the ball in the area. It's tactical for Ange, because Brennan Johnson is a left winger, but playing him out on the right, forcing him on his stronger foot to deliver the balls in and get in those positions, I think it's completely unlocked a new style in him.
Yeah, I think Ange has kind of said that's kind of what he's been missing from Johnson. What he brings to the team, something different from what we would expect. And I guess we can't just keep going down the road of kind of expecting the same things all the time from the kind of squad. Wingers do this and whatever, strikers do that. And I think from this football point of view, what they're looking for is something different in every kind of way. And if you've got the ability to maybe move, you can have Johnson on for so long, but then take him off and replace him with someone like Odebear or whoever, then that kind of gives you that options. And I think that's what we've been missing. If you've seen where we've been playing poorly, but then you're not able to take off the player that's playing poorly, say, for instance, Son, you're not able to take Son off because you haven't got anyone to bring on in his place. Whereas now we're starting to see that we have got some kind of a bit more depth in the squad. So that gives us that opportunity to do that.
Oh, yeah, 100%. I mean, as I say, I think we've missed him the most alongside Solanke, because even then, when we had our full, even though Van der Ven and Romero weren't here, I mean, we still went to the Etihad with Davies and Dragutin. They put in the shift. In terms of that, I think the build-up and the progression and opening up teams, which is what Johnson does by hugging the sideline, it's what we've been missing. And to be fair, he's come back and he's shown us what we've been missing.
Yeah. No, I'd say I don't think he's ever going to be the player that's going to be banging in crosses left, right, and centre for a big man to knock in, to header in or whatever. But I think he is the man who's going to do those runs. That's going to arrive late, going to pick up an odd goal here and there and everything. And that's kind of working for him. As I say, to pick up 2 goals in that game very, very quickly, I thought was amazing, and kind of settled our nerves. A little bit, and then obviously we built from there, despite kind of conceding just before half time, which was really, really disappointing to see that one go in. But I don't think there was a lot the keeper could do about that one, to be fair. Dean, let me come back to you, right? Because I know we talked about Spence earlier, but I just wanted to pick up this point. There was a lot of talk in the media where Ange was asked about Spence, and he was giving him a lot of kudos, and he was saying that how well he's been doing and so on and so forth. But he made some comments that have kind of really kicked on, and I'm not sure whether you've seen them, where he kind of suggested that he'd held Spence back on purpose to really test him. Did you buy that, or are you like, because I've seen two lots, I've seen two sides. I've seen people that are saying there's no way that he held him back, and he's only used it and he's only used him because of injuries or whatever. So what side are you on? I'm guessing you don't believe him.
No, not at all. He weren't even in the Europa League squad, mate. So it's only because of obviously he's allowed to adjust it now that he's back in. But it's strange because Ange didn't fancy him from day one. Although I think he had a good pre-season, but he still didn't go. And there was talks about him going out on loan. So that would have been criminal. I mean, we've sent some good players out on loan, and to see Jed go out, but in Jed's favour, he's kept his head up, and he's kept his head up. He's kept going, and I think that's why Ange's gone. Well, hang on a minute. I will give him a go because one, we're short on players anyway, but two, the kid's got his. I don't know whether he had an attitude or what it was, but I just didn't fancy him beforehand. But like I said, I think he's the first name on the team sheet now.
I read somewhere that someone said that he's quite a shy character off the football pitch and a little bit aloof. And maybe some people take that as arrogance, and maybe that's what's played against him. But there's also suggestions about being late for team meetings and late for training and stuff like that. That's the kind of vibe that's been kind of given off about him. The only thing I would say, and I don't know what the answer is, I don't know what the truth is, could Ange have been a little bit more careful about putting him in, thinking, well, hold on a minute, if I rush him straight in, I'm giving in to him, he needs to prove himself. Maybe that's part of it. Maybe that's part of what was on his mind. The only reason I say that is because we could suggest the same thing about Reguilon, right? Where, there's been times where we've been crying out to utilise someone like Reguilon, and he hasn't. So, maybe, did he have to use Spence? Could he have used Reguilon instead? So potentially he could have been seeing something in Jed that he isn't seeing in Reguilon, and that's why he maybe held him back. But I don't know. It's one of them, and I don't think we'll ever know, really, will we?
No, and he doesn't. Spence doesn't come across that sort of person either. He's not sort of like big and brash like some of the other sort of players. Like I say, his mum was in and his sister was in the ground. They were just in like little seats at the front when he plays at Spurs. Again, his sister and that they're not in like a box or anything like that. They're just in the ground enjoying the game. So they seem that sort of family, very family orientated as well, which which beggars the question: Did he have an attitude problem? I don't think so. I just think there was something about him that he didn't like. Like you said, if he was late for a meeting or doing that, that's a punishment thing. But sometimes, if you punish him, you punish the team as well.
Yeah, no, I have seen that with his mum and his sister, because I know his sister does a lot of on TikTok and stuff like that. She puts out some decent videos and stuff. And I saw his mum and his sister were interviewed by an Ipswich fan outside the ground. Have you seen that? Yeah. So they was interviewed outside the ground, and they came across really, really well. Apart from his sister saying she'd support Chelsea, which is a bit annoying. Don't say that, love. But his mum was like Crystal Palace because they kind of lived in that area or whatever. Yeah. But they did seem very down to earth and very grounded and stuff. And which, from watching Jed Spence play and how he reacts for scoring or playing, he does seem very grounded, which kind of makes you think, I can't see where this attitude problem seems to come from. But we're not there, are we? So, it's not just Ange. Let's be fair. It's not just Ange who's had the issue. Conte had the issue, and Warnock and so on. So there must have been something if all of them can see it, right? But he's given his chance and he's taken it really well. And like you say, 3 Man of the Match awards in 3 games is amazing. And to get a goal at the weekend as well, get his first Premier League goal, it feels like a good time to be Jed Spence, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you've got to give that to Ange, I think. I mean, like you said, Conte and Warnock just didn't fancy him at all, and all of a sudden, he's been there for a while, and Ange just kind of must have got into his head and said, "Look, you're going to throw your career away," and so many players do that. Think they're better than they are, think they're bigger than they are, and then all of a sudden they turn around and they're 26, 27, 28, and their time's over. They're down in like the lower leagues if they carry on playing. So perhaps he's got into his head. Give him that. I would have said.
Yeah, I mean, you've only got to look at Dele Alli, haven't you, to know that how fantastic he was and where he is now, and ending up in Turkey and then not playing and so on and so forth. It just shows how quickly someone's career can disappear. So they've got to take it with both hands, I guess. And I'm sure after Ange has gone, the truth or some stories will come out a little bit and give us a bit of a better idea about what his tenure was like at Tottenham. but say at the moment he seems like he's pretty well protected. So let me come to you, Alex, and because I want to ask you about Maddison.
Oh,
so Maddison wasn't in the starting lineup. So first question around that is, was you shocked that he wasn't in the starting lineup? And do you think this is just basically squad management by Ange?
Disappointed of not seeing him in the lineup. Not shocked, disappointed. Is he fully fit? Sort of thing. Is he? If he's has he only got 60 minutes in him, or has he only got 40 minutes in him, or or is it a tactic, like you say? Because he just changed the dynamic of the team. Straight away, he came on and started, talking to people, and he was just like, it looks like he was on something. He was like electric. He was just on it, and he obviously got that assist. Set Spence up, didn't he? So I just think it was disappointing to see him not in the team, but when he did come on the pitch, I was quite pleased. I do like Al Madders because he just brings the whole dynamic to the team. He's the one that will argue with the ref. He's the one who'd just be fresh set of legs, and he'd just run them off. So that's I was pleased to see him getting on the pitch eventually.
Yeah, no, I agree, and I think I guess it's a bit of a special game for him because it's against Ipswich.
Yeah.
He's a Norwich fan, isn't
Norwich,
he?
yeah.
So big rivals and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, again, I wasn't shocked. I guess I was a little bit surprised that maybe he didn't start, and that I thought maybe he would start and maybe get pulled, taken off. But then Bergvall had a really good game, so it was okay. And when Maddison came on, he did bring some energy, and did kind of take it to him. I mean we called about out the assist, but I mean that was a really tight space to pick out that pass. It wasn't a bobble. He actually did make the pass.
Yeah. Like I say, he was like he was electric. I mean, if he starts I should mention we all know that if he starts in the starting lineup, that he's not going to be there for the full the length of the game. So he's either going to be at the start or hopefully a bit at the end. But it would be good to see him do a whole match sort of thing. But is he, like I say, like me and Dean have spoken about before, is he just not up to it at the moment? Is he still not, 100% fit that can run around at that speed or physically capable of doing it for the full 90 minutes? But yeah, it was good to see him, but he don't stop. I like him. He's got a bit something about him. I think I'm taller than him as well, so I like that. What do you mean, no?
Not a chance. Not a chance.
Shut
up. So Chris makes this point. I saw it a minute ago, right? Where it looks like Ange is starting to learn, which is a good sign. I was just wondering from that point of view, is this Ange trying to be a little bit more careful with this squad, having learned that we've lost so many players by overworking them, that he actually needs to be really, really careful with his game management about what players should play when and how long they should play and so forth, because he needs to keep these players together now for the rest of the season, right?
Who's that, mate? Sorry, was that me again? Or
yeah,
Mason?
Sorry,
give it a Mason. Sorry, but I'd give it a Mason because you know what he's like. Go on, Mason. What do you think? I'm passing the buck.
I mean, to be fair, it's whenever we see like Maddison being benched and stuff like that, people are like, "Oh, well, why is he benching him?" At the end of the day, it's Ipswich. Like you got to give your main players a rest. Like I was baffled seeing Son starting, but it's a bit of both. I think he is managing. Like he's learning. He's saying, "Okay, right, don't overwork him too much because if this happens and he's playing twice every 2 weeks or stuff like that." But I think it's a bit of both. I think he's kind of like shit, can't do it again. But it's only Ipswich, so there's no point in risking Maddison for Ipswich anyway, because he's going to be fired up for the game anyway. He might overwork himself anyway because he wants to beat Ipswich quite badly, because the rivalry ties, stuff like that. But I think it's a bit of both. I think it is Ange using his noggin, but he's also, giving the players a bit of a rest.
I think he's probably realised as well that he can't break his new toys. If people are coming back from injury, he can't push them. So maybe he now knows their what's the word I'm looking for? Their levels of fitness or how far he can push them. So maybe he's thinking, I don't want to break him again because if we do, we're fucked. the team's fucked. He's fucked. So yeah, if you excuse the language.
Yeah, no, I don't excuse the language. Terrible. Apologies to all those people that were offended by Sweary Alex.
Bollocks.
No, I'd be interested. I'll stick with you, Mason. I'll stick with you, Mason. Right?
Charming.
A little bit of sense. But I guess just picking up your point about
I'm going to watch Greece then.
Him being able to chop and change. He did have Bergvall, and I think maybe he's looking at Bergvall and being a little bit more not doesn't see that as so much of a risk as maybe he did at the beginning of the season because Bergvall had a decent game, right?
Bergvall's been having decent games for weeks now. He's kind of, I mean, I remember when we played. Oh, who was the team we went to men down to in the Europa League?
You just said you remembered.
Ferencvaros. I remember in Ferencvaros there, Bergvall was crying because he couldn't get his shot because he couldn't come off early because of the Dragons in red card. But now it's, as Ange said, he wants players who want to play for Tottenham. And at the moment, you can see that in Bergvall. He wants to play every week. He's proven himself every week. I think the best game we've seen him play was against Liverpool. He was everywhere. I mean, he obviously scored the first leg goal. But Bergvall, week in, week out, is doing very well and should be taking more caution with him because I don't know why Gray didn't play. Like, if you're resting players who Bergvall's been playing for weeks, put Gray in his position. He's been playing centre-half all season. Just give him a go there. And should be picking and choosing players depending on their workload, not so much who's in the best form, because at the end of the day, when it comes to form, all it takes is a knock and he's out for another 3 weeks. So
sorry, go on, Mason.
No, go on, that's it, go on.
No, I was going to say, but do you not think, like we've said before, that a position in our team now the big boys have come back, or the better players as such have come back, the positions are now, harder to grab. So everyone's got to put a shift in, sort of thing, So I think we've said it before a number of times, isn't it? While we've had the injuries, people have been coming through you wouldn't normally see, and if they're doing really well, then every position's up for grabs, isn't it?
But Bergvall was just, when we signed him, everyone kind of thought, he's just another kid, bit of talent, might play in a few years. No, I don't think anyone would say when we first signed him that he'd be starting for Spurs week in, week out. No one would have said that. Everyone's going, okay, just maybe a bit of a development project, stuff like that. But no, Bergvall, week in, week out, is proving everyone that he deserves to be in the 11. But I do think we should have rested him for Ipswich. We shouldn't have put out, don't get me wrong, I take the 4-1 win, great team sheet, crack on, great game. But you can't be risking players like that against a team like Ipswich, like Bergvall, Son. You can even say Vicario. I mean, I get he's only just come back, but he didn't need to start that game. He really didn't.
Yeah, I get it. I guess I wouldn't agree too much around Vicario because I think with a goalkeeper they need to play. It's not a massive strain in terms of output, but it's like a concentration thing. And I think like he proved how much we needed him in the first sort of the last couple of games. So I'm really chuffed to have him. With regards to Bergvall, I agree. I don't think anyone was expecting him or Gray to play the minutes they've played, and they've grabbed their opportunity with both hands in the same way that Spencer's done. And I think that they're now pretty much first team players. They're there competing for places, and I think they'll get plenty of football. I guess the reason why Gray doesn't get the chance to go into midfield is because we're still short on central defenders, because we had a central defensive Danso and Gray, with Davis still being out again. With I don't know whether it's a recurrence of his original problem or not. I'm not sure. So I guess he's still required to do that central defender role, which is pretty disappointing for him. But I think it's great to have that kind of depth and the ability to play these youngsters that are really shining. Dean, I want to come back to you because I want to talk to you about the guy you've already mentioned, Kevin Danso. I mean, what a signing he appears to be straight away. I've been really impressed with him.
Yeah, just gutted it's still alone, but the way he came across, and was tapping the badge. That might be a permanent loan. Fingers crossed, mate.
We've
He's
got
immense.
an obligation with him, though, isn't it? Is it an obligation to buy, or is it just a?
I think that they wanted that, and whether or not it became an obligation, because it was so many going backwards and forwards, wasn't it? So it was going to be a straight loan with no obligation, but hopefully there is, because what you do. Sorry,
it's an obligation, yeah.
Oh, it is now. Right, okay. Because they didn't want to sort of bring him in, train him up, just to send him back as a better player. But he's brilliant, mate. He really, really is good. He's like, he's not deadly, but he's got that sort of thing about him. He's got, well, he's a lot, he's a lot older than a lot of the people around him. But he's constantly talking and marshalling the defence and telling them where to go, telling the midfield to push up. And Vicario and him are talking all the time. He's like a proper old head on him, but he's such a unit as well. Nothing was getting past him. He made a cock up for the goal. I'm sure it was down to him. But the ball should have been stopped coming in the first place. But he was good. I think he put the pass out to Scarlett on Kulu for the fourth goal.
Yeah. Nigel just puts on here that Danso is everything that Dragushin isn't. And I think
everything that Dragushin wish he was.
Yeah, I kind of go with that, because I think that's what we was expecting we were getting with Dragushin, is what we're actually getting with Kevin Danso. And to be honest with you, I wasn't expecting Kevin Danso to be as good as he is, to be honest with you, because there was talk about, because obviously he played for Southampton for a little while, not for very long, and he kind of came through the Milton Keynes Academy and stuff like that. So you're kind of not thinking that he's going to be that great, but I've been hugely impressed with him.
Oh yeah, very much so. Plus, he's played on the left side and the right side, so again, it shows him he's quite versatile. He's not afraid to have the ball at his feet either, with people around him, and he just plays the simple balls as well. What a signing, mate! Really, really, and I think that's gone right under the radar. Mate of mine is a Wolves fan, and he was going. Obviously, never seen him play. Seeing the stats he's been putting in. Again, you stole him off of us. Whereas beforehand, I don't think they were too bothered. But the way he's playing, there they are. Yeah,
I concur as well with you when you said he's not Ledley King, but he's got that kind of look about him that maybe he will grow into that. Maybe he could reach that sort of level. He's not there. He's young. He's hungry. He's got to learn. But maybe we could get another player of that sort of ilk. I mean, how fantastic would that be to kind of get that? I want to, whilst we're talking about him, I want to talk to you about the not penalty decision that we got on that. It was pretty difficult to see it at full speed, but when you watch that back, that's a bang on penalty, isn't it?
It was right opposite. It was bang opposite me. And it was just smashed right out. It made absolutely no sense how that didn't even get to. I think they said, it's gone to VAR, checked. It didn't even come from the screen. Absolutely ridiculous.
They didn't even mention any of our goals, did they, Dean? Over the tannoy.
No, didn't. That was weird at Ipswich. Where there was other games, like say our place, and they go, and the goal was scored by some twat, right?
But
at Ipswich, it was nothing. Didn't even mention that they'd scored.
Yeah.
Nothing. But when they scored, and it was nothing for us. Absolutely nothing.
And it was John Deere on the right. Well done.
I mean, Jim says here, right, that
John Deere's a tractor, by the way, but
Yeah, I've heard that. Jim says here about VAR being too inconsistent, and that's bang on, right? Because that, for me, you literally see him run across him and just barge him straight out of the way. And if he's running along, that's going to take you away. I mean, he's a big lump, but even so, you run across someone and barge him out like that. That's got to be a penalty. I just could not believe it. When having watched it back, I just could not believe that wasn't a penalty. And that could
No,
have.
the
That
only
could have
the only
cost
sort of
us.
saving grace that I could see, to be honest, is that the ball had gone, right? And there was no way, no matter how he'd done, he would have got to that ball. But even so, anywhere else, that's a free kick. So if it's a free kick anywhere else, it's a pen, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I'm not calling it the Jamie Carragher, but I guess, mate, the thing is, I always go back to this. If that had been one of our players, would it have been given us a penalty? And I think it would have done. If that had been the other end, and that had been Dan so doing it the other way, I guarantee you that would have been a penalty against us. So. Yeah, I was a bit disappointed by that, to be honest with you. But
yeah, we was all in, all standing there going, right, okay. Well, surely you waiting for either the ref to put his finger to his ear, or something to come up on the screen, or him to say, well, "Hang on a minute." Nothing. It was just Bosh. Carry on.
I mean, how often have we seen that? Like Brad said, how often have we seen that given anywhere else on the pitch? It's a foul.
Yeah, it was.
So if it's a foul outside of the box, and it's a foul inside the box. If it's a foul inside the box, it's a penalty, right? So it's a really
unless it's us.
Yeah, which is how it feels, right? That's and I don't want to be one of them salty Arsenal fans that's always crying that they don't get the decisions and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But
and they such at the moment. In the scum crying into their buckets. Oh my God. Isn't it? I've been accidentally coming across the Arsenal TV bit. Oh, sorry, I said that word. And I've been leaving comments, I must admit. But obviously snidey comments. But my God, they're crying buckets, ain't they, them twats? But still, not to worry.
Yeah.
Move on.
I mean, I love it. I'm more than happy to bath in Arsenal fans' tears. I love doing that.
West Ham beat them. I bet you as well at me, Lee, wouldn't you?
Yeah, giving it this.
Look at that.
I have your West Ham shirt on.
You probably got your West Ham pants on, but we don't want to see them. But carry on.
Mason, let me come back to you, because I just wanted to ask you about Matisse Tell. 4 games in, and all of a sudden seems to be being written off by a large section of the online community for sure. What are you making of that?
Ridiculous. He's a great player, and you can see in his game that he's great. But to write him off already, he's 19 for Christ's sake, and even then, he's already bagged for us. I'm pretty sure he got an assist as well, didn't he? He's already contributing straight away. 19 years old, thrown into a team in a different country, in a starting 11 with high tempo football. He's going to be great. He will be great. To write him off now is ridiculous.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think we've seen so often players kind of developing and getting better and better, and actually really then starting to contribute to the team. And we tend to write them off far too quickly. Alex, do you concur with that? Are you still fairly impressed with Tell, or are you one of these people that thinks he's not as good as we like to think he is?
No, I think, like Mason said, you've got to give him time. I mean, I haven't seen the trolling of him, I must admit, because obviously some of us don't work in front of a screen and read the gossip all day. But no, I haven't seen the trolling bit. But no, I thought what we saw of him, you got to give him time. You got to give him time to settle in. So what's that? What are you doing? What's that for?
Nothing. It's nothing.
It's a bit wrong, isn't it? It's a bit wrong. Me and Dean are out in the cold weather, used to sitting on a chair looking at the Spurs chat. But no, give him time. You keep doing that, son. I think give him time. I think it come up to speed, and we should all be happy with him. But you can't be slagging off a 19-year-old kid. Christ, you know what I mean? Give him a chance.
Yeah,
if that's what's happening, if that's what's happening, it's wrong. You should be getting behind him. Christ, we've been through enough already this season, let alone digging a hole for ourselves even deeper. So no, give him a chance. He's only 19. Blimey.
Yeah, I mean that there is. It was quite interesting. Like after the game, we win 4-1. The Scum lose. Chelsea lose. It's like it's almost a perfect weekend, and yet I'm still seeing lots of people moaning about Tottenham. I mean, I think Brad actually put in there that we're like 11 points off the top or something, or we're 11 points off fourth. Brad put in, right? And yet I've also seen people saying oh, if we don't win on Wednesday and the other teams win, we could be right back where we started from and all the rest of it. And I'm like, yeah, I know, but if me uncle had tits, he'd be me auntie. Do you know what I mean? It's just one of them. It's so tight in the league. You just don't know where you could end up.
It's too congested.
And anyone can win a game against anyone at the moment, it seems. I mean, let's be honest, we didn't think that West Ham were going to beat Arsenal at the Emirates, did we?
No.
Well, we hoped for it.
Yeah, but we didn't expect it, right?
No, you probably hoped for it.
Honestly, I'm going to ban you in a minute. I'm going to find a replacement for you and send you off into the abyss.
And the fans would be an uproar that you've got rid of me. Isn't that right, everyone? Everyone message how much you'd miss me. Wait for it. It's going to explode. It's going to explode now, Lee. You'll be
have a vote in the chat whether we want to keep Alex or whether we want to ban him from the show for being a dickhead.
I think they'd rather keep me than a West Ham supporter 1 week, or an Arsenal 1 week, or Man City's supporter. I mean, you're covering all your bets.
Okay, moving swiftly on. Dean, let
the adults talk. Let the adults talk.
Yeah, let the adults talk. I'm going to get rid of him in a minute. Dean, just moving on from the actual football from the Ipswich match. I don't know if you've seen this, but apparently Tottenham have sent out a strongly worded email to all the broadcasters to say that they no longer wish to be referred to as Tottenham and only want to be referred to as Tottenham Hotspur. Did you see that?
I did. Yeah.
What did you make of that?
What's a load of
You mean
bollocks.
Alex Ho brothers, right?
Right. It's another. It makes no sense. It's like the crap they just keep putting out to rebrand themselves. It's not a rebrand, is it? It just isn't. It's absolute toilet. All their songs say Tottenham. No one can stop them. It don't say Tottenham Hotspur. It don't.
Thanks, Jim.
None of the songs say Tottenham Hotspur. Why? Why have you got to do that? It makes absolutely no sense at all.
It's almost like you just you get over one disaster just to try and find another one to kind of put your foot straight into your own mouth, doesn't it? I just don't get it.
It's just it's branding, isn't it? Again, it's branding. Someone for the branding company.
Yeah, but what is that? What is that stadium called?
Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, yeah.
Is it called the Tottenham Hotspur?
Yeah.
So, why? White Hart Lane, he didn't even mention Tottenham. Didn't even say that we was in Tottenham. So, from where it used to be the White Hart Lane, and they were supposed to be changing the station, the train station name away from White Hart Lane to Tottenham Hotspur. Just makes no sense.
It's like you don't hear commentators or anyone else calling Wolves Wolverhampton Wanderers, do you? It's just so weird to ask. Or Brighton and Hove Albion. No one says the full name, do they?
No.
We're always called Spurs, aren't they? Spurs.
Well, that's what they keep saying. Oh, yeah, you can. There's plenty of towns and cities and Uniteds, but there's only one Hotspur.
Well, that's the thing they've used,
there's only
right?
one Wanderers, isn't there? How many Wanderers are there? And how many Albions?
There's 3 I can think of off the top of my head.
Honestly, just ridiculous.
Yeah, I guess like Brad said, right? It's free publicity, right? They want everybody saying the term Tottenham Hotspur, don't they? Because Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, it's how they reel people in to do all these concerts and all the rest of it, isn't it? It's all the publicity about the brand, and that's what they're trying to do.
Well, that's what they're trying to build, I suppose, for the hotel and the surrounding areas and everything else, isn't it? I suppose they want to differentiate from Tottenham to Tottenham Hotspur, I suppose.
All of us when we sing, like you say, when we're singing the songs, right? They're all just Tottenham songs, right? Yeah. They're not Tottenham Hotspur songs. They're all just Tottenham songs and everything. And it's just.
Go on, sorry, Lee. Go on.
No, I've finished. Go on.
No, I was going to say, I think it's probably something to do with branding in the hotel. Because if someone says they're going to Tottenham, all right, we're going to Everton or we're going to Michelle, but we're going to Tottenham. Or if we're going to Tottenham Hotspur, then we know we're going to Tottenham Hotspur, could be the hotel or the ground. It's probably along those lines, if you can see what I mean.
Yeah.
I should be that.
Yeah, That's the same as what Nigel's saying. It's about advertising around the world and getting your brand out there and all the rest of it.
It's getting
But-
it. I mean, the hotel's being built now, isn't it? Right, so it's being planned and built now. I know the guy that's doing the hoists. Hello, Stuart. It's building it now, isn't it? So you don't do it 5 minutes before, do you? You do it whatever it is, 5 years. So when it's all done, everybody knows who and what is Tottenham Hotspur. So it could be branding, couldn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it just feels like from a Tottenham supporters' point of view, it just kind of feels like they're just stripping away anything related that's just about us, anything that's our heritage or whatever. It just feels like it's being stripped away constantly. It's just really, really frustrating, I guess. Anyway,
It's a bit like it's a bit like Mr. Fox says. Look, isn't that why the podcast has a new name? It's because suiting the shit. Obviously, didn't want to offend anyone.
let me explain that at the end, but there's a couple of things I just wanted to touch on as well. You wrote the league draw, so of course we managed to get AZ Alkmaar as opposed to Sociedad, which was pretty good. I like from a personal point of view. When I was looking at flights of how to get to Real, whatever it was. That is not easy. That's not easy to get to. That was a bit of a problem. Really, really expensive. So not from a personal point of view, going to Alkmaar sounds is a lot easier. But that does give us in theory, an easier run to the final if we get that far. What did you guys make of that, Mason? Let me start with you. What did you make of the draw? You're talking on mute.
You're on mute, mate.
I thought that was quite fair in terms of the teams we could have got prior to that got knocked out, which were, I mean, we had a chance to get Galatasaray and what was the other one? Was it?
There was one from Danish team, wasn't it?
That's it.
Midtjylland. Yeah.
We didn't want Galatasaray. We already lost to them in the groups, so got quite lucky they got knocked out. But I thought it was quite fair. I mean, we've already played AZ as well, haven't we?
Yeah.
We beat them 1-0.
Yeah, beat them, yeah.
I think it's quite fair. I think it would be an easier game than Sociedad, but if you look to the route to the final, it's doable. It's just, aren't we playing away every second leg, which we've never been great at, have we?
Ooh. Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? In this one, we got the away leg first, but I think game after that, it's both are away, both are at home first, right?
Think so, yeah. But
yeah.
as I say, the route to the final is good. It's the other side you got to worry about. I mean, I think it's going to be Roma or Athletic Club, which is who you got to worry about because the final's in their stadium. So they'd be playing at home. If they're in the final, they'd have the confidence straight away playing at home. But it's going to be a hard job. I mean, whilst you lot are talking, I'll try and figure out the potential route, but it's going to be a hard one.
Yeah.
I think Lazio's going to be the toughest game.
You reckon?
Yeah.
Are you happy with this draw though?
Yeah, you take the first two for sure. But yeah, Lazio's going to be really, really tough. Really, really tough.
We could still meet Jose Mourinho, right? I think someone said that we could still meet. It's Fenerbahce, I think, isn't it? So we could still end up meeting him, which that would be a bloody nightmare. What if we had them in the final? Because he'd really want that, wouldn't he? So
yeah, but yeah, I mean, the thing is, if you want to be a champion, you've got to beat all comers. You can't go, oh no, we ain't going to beat them. So what's the point? You've just got to be up, and hopefully, as the months go on, we get more and more players back. And we get stronger and stronger, sort of back to the days that it should have been. So all being well, fingers crossed, our route is a nice one.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Well, me and a few others from South Dorset Spurs are all going over. Yes.
Well, we can go for
tickets.
260 quid, Mason and Dean. We can go. 3 of us.
If Marie lets you.
If Marie lets you, we're bumping in with you lot, mate. So I don't know about that.
Well, we got space. We've got our own apartment. We haven't got tickets, but we're going to go for the adventure anyway. Why not? It's worth a punt. So up next, we've got Man City. So I guess starting with you, Alex, how are you feeling about Man City tomorrow?
Wow. Yeah, it would be all right. Done them a couple of times, haven't we? Third time lucky, third time's a charm. It should be all right. It's going to be a cold night, isn't it, Dean? Again, Dean can wear his
Are you
big
feeling
jacket.
confident though? Are you feeling
Yeah.
confident though?
Well, yes, yeah, I am always behind them, mate. Yeah, I reckon we'll be all right, mate. I reckon we'll
Okay.
give it to him. So yeah. Dean's got a new lucky jacket in, so yeah, Dean can wear that, and yeah, we'll do all right, mate. I think.
Dean, what do you reckon? You're going to have your big coat on? Are you going to be all right out
Do you
there?
know what? I don't think it's going to be as cold as to need that, but I'll take it just in case. Do you know what? Out of all the teams that we play, we do so well against City. City must hate us, really, really hate us, and we're their bogey team. We are their bogey team. So I think the City fans will be more worried about us than we are about them. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Which is quite strange, isn't it? Talking about the champions, even when they were champions, we were still sort of turning them over. So
yeah,
Mason, you see his mate.
Mason.
What's his name? Fat bloke. What's his name?
Big Steve.
Big
That's
Steve.
it. Big Steve. Yeah, Big Steve.
Big Steve. All right.
He's like the Man City fan. Like like everyone like that. The scum have got Robbie. And Spurs have got expressions. Everyone's Big Steve, and he drinks down the Gilpin. Lovely bloke.
He's a nice bloke. Really, really nice bloke, and his mates too. Really, really.
Yeah,
good.
wasn't he to meet you last time and then blew you out?
No,
he
probably blew you out, Lee. Probably blew you out. You probably turned up in that t-shirt.
I wasn't there. Was I? Can't do midweek games. Not unless they're in. Alkmaar.
Not unless you're allowed. Not unless you're allowed. You're a bit like me. Not unless you're allowed. But yeah, no, we had a good night that night, didn't we, Dean?
Yes, mate, we did.
So are you confident, Mason? Are you confident as well?
Yeah, I'm fairly confident. But then again, it's the last time we played City, we had basically the whole team minus the centre halves. But it's going to be a struggle. I think it won't be as a bigger scoreline as it was last time, 4-0. I reckon maybe a cheeky 2-1, maybe even a 1-0, maybe even a 2-0. But I don't know. I mean, going off what Dean said, we are their bogey team. When we won 4-0 last time, all of the big accounts of Man City were saying, I fucking hate Tottenham Hotspur. All of them hate them. All of them hate us at the moment. But I don't know. But going on a separate note about what you said, Lee, the road to the final doesn't look too bad. If we beat Alkmaar, it's one of Frankfurt or Ajax. If we beat them, it's going to be Lazio because it's Bodo Glimt, some other team that we've played, and Olympiacos. So the hardest teams we'll probably play is Lazio, Ajax, or Frankfurt if we progress after this. And the other side is looking. We got the nice side, put it that way. The other side is Roma, Athletic Club, Rangers, Fenerbahce, Lyon, Man United, Sociedad. It's going to be harder for the other side of the table to progress than us, but we just got to get the job done. I mean, let's run back Ajax. Let's go do that again. No Lucas Moore this time around, though.
No. It is. Everyone was calling out because I was watching because I work from home and I was able to sit on my ass and just watch a screen, as so eloquently put. I was able to watch the draw. I was able to watch the draw. So, and everyone was saying, this is the draw we want. We really need Alkmaar because that's an easier route to the final if you progress at each level. So, so I'm really happy. I'm really happy for it. And like I say, we're going out there for the adventure next week. So it'll be interesting to see how we get on and all the rest of it. But yeah,
you might see us there, Lee. If I could talk these two into it.
Well, you're welcome. I'm sure we'll find somewhere for you to kick down.
I'll pay for us to go for that price, blimey.
Let's go. Let's just grab some score predictions. Then, Dean, what you say for the score prediction against Man City?
A 1-0 for us.
1-0. I'll take it. I'd absolutely take it. Mason, what you saying?
I'm going to go for a 2-0.
2-0. And Alex, what are you saying?
Hang on. 2-1.
2-1. Yeah, I can't see us not conceding, to be honest, because I know we've had a couple of clean sheets, but I just can't see us not conceding. I personally, I think it's going to be a bit more of a high-scoring game. It's going to be one of those edge of the seats. Yeah, I could just feel it. But I think we're going to do them. I do think we're going to do them. But I think it's going to end up as a 3-2 to us. Which again, I'll take it, right? Because I mean, you want to keep the momentum going because we've got the weekend off because there's no FA Cup game for us, unfortunately. So we get a week off after tomorrow, which gives the players a chance to recuperate going forward. So this should all be good.
My girls won 1-0. Very good close game Sunday. My daughter did put a very good performance on. Sophie, the goalkeeper, on TikTok. Have a look. But yeah.
Oh, there you go.
So
there you go.
Yeah. So we're winning. They're winning. Everyone's a winner.
Any TikTokers out there? Any people on TikTok out there? Sophie, the goalkeeper. Go and give her a follow.
Yeah, Sophie the goalie. Yeah, Sophie the goalie.
Sophie the goalie. Right. Sorry, I got that wrong. Mason, just before I kind of wrap things up, how did you get on with your Castle Point Spurs? Is that improving? Is it growing?
It's improving. We're growing. Got 2 members added in last night. Got another member on the way. He just needs to sort out his Spurs account. But no, we're getting there. We are getting there.
2 other guys I met from Ipswich as well. They're looking for the Facebook shout out, Mason. So yeah, 2 guys from Benfleet I bumped into, which was very strange. But yeah, so hopefully that'll be great, mate, won't it?
Hopefully, yeah. It's getting there. It's getting there.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Yeah. Good stuff. So again, if you're in the Benfleet, Castle Point, Canby Island area, I'm making it up because I don't know. If you're in that area and you're looking to be in an official supporters club, Castle Point Spurs is your way in, and you'll be able to spend your time with these fine fellas. Well, Dean and Mason, anyway. And of course, you get. I haven't finished. You get Alex. You get Alex as a bonus on top of that. See, I was being nice there. Anyway, listen.
Rubbish.
All that's left to say is thank you very much for the guys for coming on the show. As always, it's always a pleasure to talk to you guys about all things Tottenham related. Let me just finish off by talking about the change of the podcast name because I think it's probably the right thing to do. So we started off just talking as shooting the shit because we thought it's basically what we're doing. We're shooting the shit, but actually, if you try to find it on YouTube, it comes up with lots and lots of other stuff, and it's difficult for anyone to find us. So we thought we'd try and come up with something a little bit more Spurs related and a little bit more easier to find. And as we all say up the Spurs quite a lot, I thought up the Spurs live show sounds pretty good. So that's what we've done. No, because they was all stupid. But yeah, so we've had a rebrand. We're just going to call this Up the Spurs live show. But what we need the people that are watching to help us out. We need them to share the videos. We need them to subscribe to the channel. We need them to promote us and tell people that we're out there and come along and watch us because that all helps the algorithm. And we appreciate that very, very much. So if you're not subscribed to the channel, can you do that, please? Yeah, because actually, that's really helpful. You don't have to watch the videos if you don't want to, but having the subscribe account really helps. Hitting the like button is also a really, really useful thing. If someone hits the like button, that actually tells the algorithm as well that this is good and people like us. So we're kind of looking for all that kind of stuff to help us along and help us promote the channel. So, but thank you to everyone who's been in the chat, who's been talking along with us, everyone who's come in and watched, everyone who's going to watch going forwards, because obviously this will be on YouTube for you to pick up on. And of course, it will be on audio platforms tomorrow for you to kind of have a listen to as well. So all that's left to say is thanks very much to everyone. And we'll leave it there. And of course, as always, up the Spurs.
Up the Spurs.
Go on it.
Up the Spurs.
Go on it.